Welcome to Rajesh Durbala Tutorials. Today we are going to discuss what are the various considerations in approaching a foreign market. Businesses do seek to venture into new international markets, and when they do so, they have to take care of various considerations while doing it. I'm your instructor Rajesh Durbala, and I'll take you through this session where I'm going to discuss what are the various aspects that a business needs to consider when approaching a foreign market. Ready? Let's go. Now, first and foremost, they have to see the country or the foreign market that they are venturing. Does it comprise of a homogeneous or a heterogeneous culture? Is the culture homogeneous or is the culture heterogeneous? Now, for example, China, the culture over there is more or less homogeneous. There is little immigration, and thus there are very few subcultures. But if we see the American market, it's quite heterogeneous. We have the Caucasians over there, we have Asians over there, we have the Africans over there, the Mexicans. Okay, so it's quite heterogeneous due to heavy immigration. Now, thus, we can expect a lot of subcultures, ethnic origin, religion, class, geographic location, and each has certain common attributes with the main macro culture. So, when we are venturing into an international market or a foreign market, we need to be very cautious about what kind of a culture we are dealing with, homogeneous or heterogeneous. Fine? Now, another very important is what needs can the product fill in this culture? Now, for instance, let us say I'll give an example of Kellogg's. When Kellogg's ventured into India, they felt that Indians have a very unhealthy or a very heavy breakfast. So they tried to position their cereal as an ideal and healthy breakfast. Now they found a need for that, okay, and they tried to position it as a alternative for the usual breakfast that Indians have. Now that's a different story whether they succeeded or not, but that's how they identified a need. So any product that any foreign market that we try to venture, one of the most important aspects that needs to be considered is, does our product fill a need in that culture? Does it have any need in that culture? So if it doesn't have, either we try to create such kind of technically we cannot create a need, but at least we can shift a need and we can change their cultural aspects and we can shift one need towards something else. Okay, they may be satisfying a need using something, but we need to create a substitute to satisfy the same need. Fine? Then the second one, can enough people afford the product? That is to say, do we have a sizable market for our product? If yes, we can venture into such a market. But if no, if we do not have a sizable market, it doesn't make any business sense to venture into such a market. Right? Then, what values are relevant to the purchase and use of that product? Now, we have to be very careful to see, are there any values that are relevant for the purchase of such a product that we are taking to the international market? For example, few years ago, Nike came up with Nike Flame and the logo that resembled the Arabic words or Arabic letters for Allah. Okay, so it was not accepted well in the Arabic nation or countries where we have Islamic influence. So that was not very relevant for the culture of certain race or certain culture or certain religion. So we have to be careful and cautious with such kind of things. Likewise, when McDonald's came to India, initially, if you remember, their fries, the famous French fries, they used to cook those fries in cow fat. Now, that was totally irrelevant to the values and the cultural system of our Indian market. So, McD was sued for millions of dollars for this. So, again, we have to be very careful and cautious to see whether the values are relevant to the purchase of such a product. Then, what are the distribution, political, and legal structures for the product? Do we have a suitable distribution or supply chain system, or the political system is conducive for such a product? Does the product fulfill all the legal compliances? It's very pertinent to that. Okay, like there are strong, severe anti-dumping laws in America. So it's very, the product has to be fulfilling, or it should not be contravening to the legal or political structure of the host country. Then, in what ways can we communicate about the product? Now, we have to be very careful that when we are communicating with the people of a foreign culture, our communication system or our communication has to be very, very cleverly crafted. Okay, so that's going to be very disastrous if we do not pay sufficient attention to creating a proper communication for the product. Then, what are the ethical implications of marketing this product in this country? Now, certain countries do not accept certain kind of advertising. Now, let us say if in the Middle Eastern countries, even if I'm selling a fairness cream, I cannot use a woman in my advertisement without a hijab. Now, so when I'm communicating, when I'm creating these kind of advertisements in those countries, I have to understand those ethical implications. In some countries, they are very, very strict against any kind of a monopolistic or restrictive practices. Now, I cannot claim my product to be superior than the others. So these are certain requirements which make things very, ethically. We have to consider the ethical consequences of such kind of advertisement or marketing when we venture into a foreign country. So, get in touch with me. You can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. You can write to me directly at rajeshdurbala@gmail.com. You can download my app on the Play Store, and do subscribe to my channel for more important, informative, and interesting content. Thank you for today.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.